When Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID. And he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice.
Yeah, a grain of rice.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Yeah, it's all on chip. So I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks.
Exactly.
So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip, and it will log me in. And from there, I get access to the fridge.
Popular TV shows like Black Mirror have imagined chips as part of a dystopian future.
Install in-grain procedure with local anesthetic and you're good to go.
In Sweden, the microchips are already here. The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards, which have made cash pretty much obsolete in Sweden. No cash. At this tech fair, a chipping event for those on the cutting edge, merging their hands with this new technology.
I thought it would be fun, right?
The process is simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
but even in this nation of early adopters, not everyone is racing to get chipped.
Feel less human. I will feel like a robot.
I think, it's so much more data can go into this, when it's in your body.
There's no central registry tracking how many people are chipped, but biohacker Hannes Wellblood estimates between 5 and 10,000.
In the future, do you think everyone is going to be chipped?
I think it'll be voluntary, but I am certainly convinced that millions of people will find it very, very valuable to have a smart device under their skin.
Human microchipping may be our future, but in Sweden, it's already reality. Sarah Harmon, NBC News, Stockholm.
My brothers and sisters, a lot of people believe that microchip is the mark of the beast. It's been years now since the speculation that microchip is going to be the mark of the beast. And the Europeans are in the forefront of pushing this. So whenever you hear of the microchip, the next thing that comes to your mind is mark of the beast. Anyone that hears of microchip in the hand or forehead, what comes to their mind is mark of the beast. Microchip, mark of the beast. Those two words are now together. Microchip, mark of the beast. They are now together. But mark of the beast has nothing to do with microchip. Mark of the beast is not microchip. Mark of the beast has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with microchip. You are dealing with the devil. You are dealing with Satan. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12. Revelation 12 shows you what you're dealing with. You cannot underestimate what you're dealing with. So this is Revelation chapter 12 in verse 9. Revelation 12 verse 9. It says, so the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast out to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Satan have deceived the whole world. You have to understand, my brothers and sisters, like all the other things I've shared with you, I don't have any speculation in me. I don't have any doubt in me. I'm not telling you that I think that this is. It could be this. It could be that. I feel like. I think. I'm not using those words. I'm telling you without a doubt. I'm telling you with all confidence that mark of the beast has nothing to do with microchip. This is nothing but a distraction from the devil. He is the author of confusion. The whole idea is to create confusion, create an illusion or confusion to confuse you. So my brothers and sisters, this is what the devil is doing. This is what Satan is doing. So if you look closely on this picture, as you can see, all these slippers are basically the same. All these slippers are the same. So imagine that you walk inside a house. Imagine you you remove your slippers and then walk inside the house. And then you come out, there's a bunch of slippers that looks like your own. You become confused. You become confused. That's exactly what the devil is doing on the issue of the mark of the beast. He is a deceiver. That is his job. Your job is to understand what is going on. Mark of the beast has nothing to do with microchip. When you step outside and you see something like this, you become confused. Same thing with your phone. Imagine that you drop your phone on a table. You go into the bathroom. After taking shower, you come outside, you come out back to the living room, and there's like 100 phones that looks like your phone. Hundreds of phones or 100 phones that look like your own. They all look like your phone. Of course, you're a human being. You're going to become confused. Just like what you see on the picture. You become confused because all these things, all these slippers, they mostly look like your own. That's what the devil is doing, to create confusion, create counterfeits. So now people are thinking, oh, is it COVID? It could be COVID. Oh, it's COVID. Is it the injection? Is it the injection? The injection, is it? Oh, is it Bitcoin? It could be Bitcoin. Maybe it's Bitcoin. My brothers and sisters, every one of these things that have come out, people have wondered. I'm telling you, it could be digital currency. Oh, I don't want to be part of digital currency. Oh, I don't want to be part of it. It's mark of the beast. It could be digital currency. It could be Bitcoin. It could be the injection that they're giving people for so-called COVID. It could be that injection that they give you. You know, the drug that they inject inside of you. Oh, that could be mark of the beast. Oh, microchip. It could be microchip. So that simply creates confusion. It creates confusion in people's head. That's what's going on here, my brothers and sisters. Meanwhile, people have already accepted the mark of the beast already. Because the mark of the beast is nothing but a counterfeit. Mark of the beast is not spiritual. It's not physical. Mark of the beast is not physical. Mark of the beast is not a microchip. Mark of the beast is not a microchip, as you saw in that video. So whenever you see a video like the video I showed you, people get scared. There were people that were scared. Oh, I don't want to get injected because of the so-called corona. I don't want to get injected. So people are scared. People are scared of the digital currency. People are scared of microchip. It has nothing to do with the mark of the beast, because I'm going to show you, give you more information. I'm not just telling you stuff. I am bold. I'm confident in what I'm telling you. I'm not guessing. Go watch any other video about mark of the beast. They guess. It could be this. It could be that. I think it could be this. We don't know yet. It could be this. No, I'm not using those words. I know 100% what I'm telling you. Because you're dealing with Satan. The idea is to confuse you. Mark of the beast is something spiritual. Mark of the beast is a spiritual mark. Mark of the beast is a spiritual mark. It's not something you can touch. It's not something you can touch. It is simply the counterfeit of God's mark. And you know that God has the mark. If you're watching this video and you don't know that, look for my other videos about that say that God has a mark. Mark of the beast is a counterfeit of God's mark, because God has a mark, and mark of the beast is simply a counterfeit to God's mark. Now, let me give you a little bit more information, biblical information, to show you that mark of the beast has nothing to do with microchip. Mark of the beast has nothing to do with microchip. Mark of the beast has nothing to do with microchip whatsoever. And mark of the beast is also not 666. It is not 666. In order for you to understand this, you cannot underestimate the evil one, Satan. Satan is the one that wants people to accept the mark of the beast. Satan is the one that wants people to accept the mark of the beast. How do we know? Let's go to Revelation chapter 13. Look, from verse 2. Look, the beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority. The dragon, who is the dragon? Let's go to Revelation chapter 14 or chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world. So the dragon is Satan. The dragon is Satan. Satan is the dragon. And if you go to Revelation chapter 13 verse 2, you see that the beast gets its power from Satan. The beast gets its power from Satan. That is not what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you that. I'm showing it to you. Revelation chapter 13 verse 2. The beast gets its power from Satan. The dragon gave the beast. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority. So the Europeans get their power from the devil, because Satan controls this world. Job 9:24. Job 9:24. Job 9:24. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. Luke chapter 4. Luke chapter 4, verse 1 to 8. You see Satan telling Yahushua Christ, if you will worship, all the kingdoms of the earth has been given to me. All the kingdoms of the world has been given to me. If you will worship me, I will give you the glories of this world. And you don't see Christ arguing with Satan and saying that he was lying, because Christ understood, yes, Satan was telling the truth. The earth has been given to him, like you see in Job 9:24. That is why Satan was able to give his power to the beast. And who is the beast? The Europeans. The Europeans are the descendant of the Roman Empire. The Europeans, the white Americans, white Canadians, Australians, white Germans, French, white British, white Canadians, these people are the descendant of the Roman Empire. They are the beast, and they get their power from the devil. Says Revelation chapter 13 verse 2. So if you now come to chapter 12, who are you dealing with? When you're dealing with the beast, anything you deal with the issue of the mark of the beast, you're dealing with the devil. You have to be very careful, because it tells you in chapter 12. So the dragon, the great dragon, was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world. The whole world has been deceived. Satan has created a counterfeit mark, and you confuse. There are different. It could be this. It could be microchip. It could be the vaccine. It could be Bitcoin. It could be digital currency. People are guessing, and then that creates confusion without you realizing that you already have the mark of the beast. You already have the mark of the beast, because the mark of the beast is a counterfeit of God's mark. God, our Heavenly Father, tells us what his mark is. Our Heavenly Father tells us what his mark is. God tells us what his mark is in Exodus 31. Exodus 31. Therefore, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and you and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. We know that this word, the sign, is mark. We know that. The word sign and mark is the same thing. We already went through that. You can see it in Hebrew. For those who don't know, the word sign and mark is the same thing. That word sign, this is the Hebrew word, ot, and it means, sign means mark. Sign means mark. This is the Hebrew word. You can Google it. That's the Hebrew number. In Strong Concordance. Strong's Concordance is a Hebrew dictionary that tells you what a word means in Hebrew. So sign means mark, as you can see. Sign means mark. It also means 6. As you see here, beacon, 6. Monument, omen, 6. Prodigy, evidence, etc. Mark, miracle. In sign, token, sign, mark, signal, sign, signal, a distinguished mark. That's in the Hebrew dictionary. So the Hebrew dictionary shows you, that the word the sign means mark. That word the sign means mark. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you this. This is not my opinion. I'm showing it to you from the Hebrew dictionary. That word the sign means mark. And then you go to man-made dictionary. You go to man-made dictionary. You see that the word sign also means mark. That's not my opinion. This is not what I think. The word sign definition, I Googled it. Sign definition from Merriam-Webster dictionary. The Latin word signum, meaning mark or indication, gives us the root sign. Words from the Latin signum have something to do with marks. So you look this up in Hebrew. It means, sign means mark. Look it up in man-made dictionary. It also means mark. So let me show you another dictionary. Here's another one. Another man-made dictionary. The definition of a mark is sign. The definition of mark is sign. Do you see what I'm doing here? So I show you from Hebrew dictionary that sign, the word sign also means mark. The word sign means mark. That's not my opinion. This is not what I think. I'm not the one that put this together. And then I also show you from a man-made dictionary. From a man-made dictionary. That you also see that the word sign also means mark. That's not my opinion. And then let's look up the word. Let's look up the word mark. We see that the word sign means mark. You look up the word mark. Look, the word mark. The definition of a mark is a sign. The definition of a mark is a sign. So do you see that sign means mark? Mark means sign. So now let's go back to the word of the Most High. It tells us that the Sabbath day is a mark. Sabbath is God's mark. Therefore, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a mark between me and the children of Israel forever. God's Sabbath days are his mark. I have shown it to you from Hebrew dictionary and man-made dictionary. And the mark of the beast is nothing but a counterfeit of God's mark. Mark of the beast is not a physical mark. Mark of the beast is not physical. The devil is a liar. The devil is a confuser, a deceiver. That is also not my opinion. When I tell you that the devil is a deceiver, that's not my opinion. That's not what I think. That's Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. Notice what I'm doing here. Notice the pattern that I operate. I'm not giving you what I think or my opinion. I'm not sitting here trying to convince you to accept my point of view of the Bible. I'm showing you. So when I say that the devil is a deceiver, I have deceived the world. If I just sit here and tell you that, brother, sister, believe me, Believe me, the mark of the microchip is not the mark of the beast. Believe me. And I give you a bunch of sentiments. You should just trust me and believe. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm giving you evidence. I'm showing you that the Bible shows that the devil have deceived the whole world. And who is the one showing you microchip? Who? Who is promoting microchip? The Europeans. The Europeans are the descendant of the Roman Empire. The Europeans are descendant of the Roman Empire. That's a fact. The Europeans are the descendant of the Roman Empire. They are the beast. Do you see what is going on here? Is that my opinion? I have proven these things from the scripture. I'm not sitting here and giving you my opinion. These people, the Europeans, are the beast that the Bible spoke of. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the video about who is the beast. Watch that video so you can understand what I'm talking about. So they are the beast. They are of the devil. That's not my opinion. Revelation chapter 13 verse 2 tells you that the beast gets its power. The beast gets his power from the dragon. Who gave you man-made calendar? Is it the Chinese, the Latinos, the Africans, the Arabs? No, it's the Europeans. Who is giving you microchip? The Latinos, the Arabs, the Africans, the Asians? No, it's the Europeans. The idea is to create confusion, to throw you off from what the mark of the beast is all about. Create confusion and throw you off. You're there scratching your head. Each time you have a new thing that comes into the market, you start wondering, oh, I don't know, is that the mark of the beast? Is it Bitcoin? Is it digital currency? Is it COVID? Is it microchip? Meanwhile, you already have the mark of the beast. You already have the mark of the beast because Saturday and Sunday worship is the mark of the beast. Saturday and Sunday worship is the mark of the beast. Let me show you. Let me show you. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. For those who don't know, Daniel chapter 7. Daniel 7. Look at what it says here. Daniel chapter 7. New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. Daniel 7, 23 to 25. This is what he said. As for the fourth beast, there shall be a fourth kingdom on earth that shall be different from all the other kingdoms. It shall devour the whole earth and trample it down and break it in pieces. As for the 10 horns out of this kingdom, 10 kings shall arise, and another king shall arise after them. This one shall be different from the former ones, and shall put down 3 kings. He shall speak words against the Most High, shall wear out the holy ones of the Most High, and shall attempt to change the ritual calendar. I am not the one that put this translation together. I didn't write this Bible. It said that the beast will try to change the ritual calendar of the Israelites. The beast will try to change the ritual calendar. That is the feast calendar. The calendar that God gave the Israelites to use to keep his holy days. He said that the beast will try to change that calendar and the law of the Israelites. Daniel 7:25. The beast will speak against the Most High and will wear out. He will wage war on the Israelites, and then will attempt to change the calendar of the Israelites and the law of the Israelites. That has happened because God gave us the sun and the moon to be our calendar. God gave us the sun and the moon to be our calendar. We're supposed to keep the Sabbath according to the phases of the moon. Because if you remember, God said that the Sabbath day is his mark. Sabbath is God's mark. Sabbath is God's mark. That's not my opinion. If you're being honest, you can admit that I'm not giving you my opinion. I've proven to you that the Sabbath day is God's mark. That is a fact. That's not my opinion. I am not guessing. And God gave us, in fact, let me not just say it because I don't want to be sentimental. Let me show you. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus from the KJV. Ecclesiasticus 43. Ecclesiasticus. Because if I tell you that the moon is God's calendar, you may not believe me. Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus chapter 43 from KJV, from King James Bible Online. King James Bible Online. For those who will say, well, brother, I don't believe you. I don't accept that book. I'm very sure that you accept it if it comes from KJV, right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 43. Ecclesiasticus 43, verse 6 to 8. Ecclesiasticus 43, 6 to 8. He made the moon also to serve in her seasons, for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is a sign of feasts, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, like the month. It used to be month before they removed one alphabet. Now it's month. Supposed to be month. Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies of above, shining in the firmament of heaven. So verse 7 said that from the moon is a sign of feasts. From the moon is a sign of feasts. What I'm doing here right now is I'm showing you that the moon is God's calendar. But I don't want to say it. I want to show it to you. The moon is God's calendar. The moon is God's calendar. You go to Psalm 104 verse 19, you see the same thing. Psalm 104 verse 19. Psalm 104 verse 19. The moon is God's calendar. He said that from the moon is a sign for feasts. From the moon is a sign for feasts. You now go to Leviticus 23 to see the feasts. Leviticus 23. Look at what the Most High said about his feast days. So if you want to keep these feast days, you have to look at the moon. Leviticus 23. The feast of the Lord. Feast of the Lord. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, the feasts of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be a holy convocation. These are my feasts. Remember that from the moon is a sign for feast. That's not my opinion. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, this book has two names. This book has two names. From the moon is a sign for feasts. So you come to Leviticus 23, you see the feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be a holy convocation. These are my feasts. Look at the first one. The first of God's feasts. The first of God's feast. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work on it. It is a Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. So Sabbath is the first of God's feast, followed by Passover, and Feast of Unleavened Bread, and Feast of First Fruit, and Feast of Weeks, and Feast of Trumpet, and Day of Atonement, and then finally the Feast of Tabernacle. These are the feast of God. But the number one is the Sabbath day. According to God, the number one of his feast days is the Sabbath day. These are my feasts. Number one, Sabbath, followed by Passover. So if you want to keep the Sabbath, you have to look at the moon, according to Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus chapter 43 verse 7. From the moon is a sign of feasts. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 1. Genesis 1. Genesis 1:14. Genesis 1:14 to 16. And God said, let there be light in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as a sign to mark sacred times. Did you see that? Let them serve as a sign to mark sacred times. So if you want to know when to worship God, you look up in the sky. You have to look at the sun and the moon. But then, if you look at the sun, you cannot be able to tell the day of the week by looking at the sun. It's impossible for you to go outside and look at the sun and tell the day of the week. It's impossible. Let them serve as a sign to mark sacred times and days and years. So the moon is God's calendar. You can look at the moon and tell when to keep the Sabbath. You can look at the moon and tell when the Sabbath day is going to be. New moon day begins the month. New moon day is a worship day. New moon day begins the month. After the new moon day, you work for 6 days and rest on the 7th day. And then the moon will most likely look half. The moon will usually look half. 7 days after the new moon, you observe your Sabbath. 7 days after, you work for 6 days again. You rest on the 7th day. Now the moon will most likely look full. You observe your Sabbath. The next day you go to work. You work for 6 days. You rest on the 7th day. The moon is back to half. This is God's calendar. Now, that's not my opinion. I've shown it to you from the scripture. He said that he gave us the sun and the moon to use it to mark sacred times. You cannot look at the sun. It's impossible to look at the sun and tell the day of the week. The sun regulates the day. The sun regulates the day. You can look at the sun and tell the hour of the day. That's it. If you want to know the day of the week, you have to look at the moon. And Sabbath is on the 7th day of the week. So the moon is God's calendar. Now, if I go back to look at what he said the beast was going to do. Look at the beast, what the beast was supposed to do. According to Daniel chapter 7. He said that the beast, look, he shall speak words against the Most High, shall wear out the holy ones of the Most High, and shall attempt to change the ritual calendar. The beast would try to change the ritual calendar. That is how we have the so-called Gregorian calendar we're using today, a man-made calendar, a fake calendar. So that is how we get Saturday worship and Sunday worship. That is not biblical.
Many Bible believers today have followed tradition handed down by previous generations. They believe and were taught that Sunday is the proper day of worship, that the Savior changed the day of worship from the Jewish Sabbath to Sunday. The adoption of Sunday as the Christian Sabbath has little to do with the Bible and everything to do with Constantine the Great over 300 years after the Messiah's death. Constantine was emperor of the Roman Empire from 306 to 337 CE. He was a sun worshipper who on his deathbed converted to Christianity. In 321 CE, while still a sun worshipper, Constantine established Sunday as the day of worship. He decreed,
"On the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and people residing in cities rest, and let all workshops be closed."
Okay. On the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and the people residing in the cities, and let all workshops be closed. Let all workshops be closed. So the Roman Empire gave us Saturn Day. Saturn Day is the day that Rome worshipped Saturn. The day that Rome worshipped Saturn. That's a fact. Till today, we still see temple in Europe that is called the Temple of Saturn.
The Temple of Saturn is one of the great Republican-era temples. It's constructed on the slopes of the Capitoline Hill, still today overlooking the Roman Forum. And this is a temple that's going to be rebuilt several times at the time of Augustus and all the way into late antiquity. So what you see is a temple whose god, Saturn, an agricultural divinity, is venerated over the centuries, even into the period of time in which Christianity has more than taken root. The Temple of Saturn. It's the last pagan temple to be rebuilt in the Roman Forum in the late 4th century.
So the Romans used to worship Saturn before they began to worship the sun. That's where Saturn Day came from. And that's where Sunday, sun, the Romans also worship the sun. So Sunday and Saturday came from the Roman Empire. And as you can see from an actual history, Constantine, the Roman emperor, the man that you saw being prophesied about in Daniel chapter 7, Constantine was the one that ordered that people don't go to work on Sunday. On Sunday. Before that, the Romans was worshiping Saturn. So on Saturday, you don't go, like that's the day that they worship their god, Saturn. So I'm going to try to speed this up. And if you haven't watched the other videos I have about the mark of the beast, then the things I'm explaining to you right now may not make sense. I highly recommend that you watch the video. Who is the beast? Or the Romans or the Europeans are the beast. Europe is the beast of Revelation. Europe is the beast of Revelation. Watch that video. If you haven't watched it, watch my video about who the beast is. The Europeans are the beast. And then watch the video that God has a mark. The title is God has a mark. Watch that video. And watch the part that talk about the mark of the beast is the counterfeit of God's mark. When you watch those videos, you will see the scriptures and this one will make sense. So when the book of Revelation tells you that without the mark of the beast, he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark. What mark were people being forced to receive? The mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast is the counterfeit of God's mark. God has a mark. Our Heavenly Father has a mark. And God's mark is the Sabbath day, based on the phases of the moon. God's mark, according to Exodus 31, 12 to 18. Exodus 31, 12 to 18. God has a mark. And his mark is his Sabbath days and his feast days. According to Exodus 31, 12 to 18. So the beast came and made a counterfeit mark. Let me show you. Let's go back to Daniel. Daniel, let me show you. Look at this. Look. So the Bible tells us that the beast is going to counterfeit God's mark. Daniel 7. Daniel 7, 23 to 25. Daniel 7, 23 to 25. This is what he said. As for the fourth beast, there shall be a fourth kingdom on earth that shall be different from all the other kingdoms. It shall devour the whole earth and trample it down and break it in pieces. As for the 10 horns, out of this kingdom, 10 kings shall arise, and another shall arise after them. This one shall be different from all the former ones, and shall put down 3 kings. Verse 25, he, that particular king, he shall speak words against the Most High, shall wear out the holy ones of the Most High, and shall attempt to change the ritual calendar and the law. And they, who are they? The Israelite. And the Israelite, and they shall be given into his power for a time, times, and half a time. That's about 2,500 years. A time, times, and half a time. So, we see here in this translation that the beast is supposed to change God's calendar. And the beast has changed God's calendar. This is what God's calendar looks like. This is God's calendar. This is God's calendar. So that's why the Bible was telling you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. It's very easy to get a job using this calendar. Very easy to get a job. They schedule you, you go to work Monday to Friday. You go to work Monday to Friday. Everybody knows that. No issue. Whatever you need to do, you do on Saturday and Sunday, right? But that's not so when you're using the moon as a calendar. You're most likely going to get fired. And then that brings us back to the elephant in the room. Money. You need money to be able to buy or sell. You give your time, your employer gives you money, and then you need the money to be able to buy or sell, right? You need to have the money which comes from the beast. I'm not going to get too much into that right now. This money comes from the beast. Because it's the same beast that came up with the idea of paper money. If you go and study the history of money, which I'm gonna do a video on that. You can look under this video or look on my YouTube. The money we use today is a beast money. The money we use today is beast money. Depending on when you're watching this video, you can look under this video right now or look on my YouTube channel or contact me. As long as I'm alive, I will respond. This is what I do full time now. I serve the Most High full time. So if you contact me, I'm not going to ignore you. I try to respond to everyone that contacts me almost every day. So you can contact me. I'm going to do a video on the beast's money. The money we use today is the beast money. That's why I usually have their head. This is not the money that the Creator wants us to use. The Creator wants us to use silver or gold. Mainly silver is God's money. The Europeans are the ones that gave the world. That's why they have their central bank system. I'm not going to get into too deep into that right now because that will be a separate video. The point is that in order for you to be able to buy or sell, you have to have this. And in order for you to get this, you have to give your time. And if you're using the lunar calendar, you can't just give whatever time, you can't just give your own time. They will tell you when you have to give your time. It's easier to give your time if you're using this calendar. You give them your time between Monday and Friday. You get paid. Between Monday and Friday, you give them your time, you get paid. And then you use that money to buy or sell, right? But if you're using a lunar calendar, they're going to require you to give them your time on Tuesdays or on Thursdays. That might happen to be a new moon day. You will tell them, oh, I'm so sorry, I cannot come to work. It's a new moon day. They might say, okay, fine, no problem. And then you tell them, oh, I can't come to work on Thursdays because that's a Sabbath day. The moon came out on Thursday. The first crescent of the moon came out on Thursday. So for the next 4 Thursdays, I cannot work. They might even accommodate you, right? They might accommodate you. And then after that, you tell them, oh, I'm so sorry. The first crescent of the moon came out on Fridays. So for the next 4 Fridays, I cannot work. I guarantee you, you're going to get fired. You will get fired from that job. You will get fired from that job. So this is the reason why that some people, when they begin to keep Sabbath with the moon, when they accept God's mark, let me say it properly, when they accept the mark of God by keeping Sabbath with the moon, normally they begin to drive a truck. Some people will begin to drive Uber. Some people will begin to deliver food delivery. They begin to look for something they can do and be in control of their time. This is what happens. So this is what it means when they say that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. So today we are going to continue on our study of the mark of the beast. And right now we are going to focus specifically on Revelation chapter 13. In Revelation chapter 13, it says that without the mark of the beast, that you will not be able to buy or sell. So all of us are familiar with this. Everybody is familiar with this. Anybody who knows anything about the mark of the beast have also heard the idea that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. So my brothers and sisters, I'm going to be showing you from the Bible today what that means. The Bible is going to show us, not me. I shouldn't have said it that way. The Bible, the word of the Most High, will show us the meaning of not being able to buy or sell without the mark. First of all, let's look at this Revelation chapter 13, because we read it wrong. We actually read it wrong. We focus on the part that says without the mark of the beast. But let's look at what it says. Let's look at what it says. It says, he causes all, both, this is Revelation chapter 13. Revelation 13 from verse 16. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their forehead. So this mark that you are caused to receive on your right hand and on your forehead, you have to have that mark either on your right hand or your forehead. And then look at verse 17. And that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So my brothers and sisters, today we focus mostly on the part about, oh, you cannot buy or sell without the mark of the beast. But that's not the only thing that the Bible says. Look right here. It said that the mark or the name or the number. So we are focused on the mark, but that's not the only thing that the Bible tells you to watch out for. The Bible says that people are going to be forced to, they can only buy or sell if they have the mark, or the devil can come at you with the name. So it can come in a form that you have to have the name of the beast in order to be able to buy or sell. Or the devil will come at you that you have to have the number of the beast in order to be able to buy or sell. I don't know if you understand what I'm explaining here. So our focus is on the mark. But the Bible is telling you that there are other ways that the devil can come. So most of us today in the world are familiar with the part that said that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. What about the part about the name of the beast? The devil is not going to come at you with this one. The name or the number of the beast. And we will look at what this means. The mark or the name or the number of the beast. We will look at these things. So, my brothers and sisters, Revelation chapter 13, that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. That is what we're looking at right now to understand what it means. So we have to start with going back to basics. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to basics. What is the beast? Because the beast is the one that will force you to receive the mark of the beast. What is the beast? This is a critical question that we need to ask. What is the beast? So I'm not going to go back into details as to who the beast is. The Bible already told us who the beast is. I just have to read what the Bible says on this. Let's go to Daniel. So quickly, very quickly, this is Daniel chapter 7. It's going to tell us who the beast is, because it's the beast that will give you the mark of the beast. And you have to have the mark of the beast in order to be able to buy or sell. So let's look at Daniel. Don't listen to me. Listen to Daniel. Daniel is going to tell you who the beast is. Daniel 7. Daniel 7, 23 to 25. Then he said to me, the fourth beast is the fourth world power that will rule the earth. It will be different from all the others. It will devour the whole world, trampling and crushing everything in its path. Its 10 horns are 10 kings who will rule that empire. So the beast is an empire, according to the Bible. Then another king will arise, different from the other 10, who will subdue 3 of them. He will defy the Most High and oppress the holy people of the Most High. He will try to change their sacred festivals and laws, and they will be placed under his control for a time, times, and half a time. So this is the beast. The beast is an empire. And he talked about he. Look at verse 25, Daniel 7:25. He will defy the Most High and oppress the holy people of the Most High. So let me go straight to the point. I'm going to go straight and show you how the beast created a mark. We also studied about the mark of the beast. If you haven't seen that video, watch the video, because like as I pointed out earlier on the other studies, watch the video about the mark of the beast is a counterfeit to God's mark. Watch the video that say that God has a mark. Look for that video. God has a mark. I have the video. Look on my YouTube, look on my website, look on my app, or contact me and I will send you a link. Or look under this video right now, where under the title of this video, if you look under the title of this video where it says more, click on more. You will see links that will take you to the rest of the videos. You can watch them. So we know that God has a mark. Our Heavenly Father has a mark. I'm not going to go into details because I already have a video that shows that. Our Heavenly Father has a mark. The Sabbath day is God's mark. Sabbath day is God's mark, according to Exodus 31, 12 to 18. Exodus 31, 12 to 18. Sabbath day is God's mark. And Saturday and Sunday is the mark of the beast, the counterfeit of God's mark. So let me go to this video because I know the importance of showing this kind of videos. It helps to kind of speed things up. Let me show you this video because I want to go straight to the point. I don't want to spend 1 hour on this study. I want to go hit the point and take you straight to the point. Just watch this.
Many Bible believers today have followed tradition handed down by previous generations. They believe and were taught that Sunday is the proper day of worship, that the Savior changed the day of worship from the Jewish Sabbath to Sunday. The adoption of Sunday as the Christian Sabbath has little to do with the Bible and everything to do with Constantine the Great over 300 years after the Messiah's death. Constantine was emperor of the Roman Empire from 306 to 337 CE. He was a sun worshipper who on his deathbed converted to Christianity. In 321 CE, while still a sun worshipper, Constantine established Sunday as the day of worship. He decreed,
On the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and people residing in cities rest, and let all workshops be closed.
On the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and the people residing in the cities, and let all workshops be closed. Let all workshops be closed. So the Roman Empire gave us Saturn Day. Saturn Day is the day that Rome worshipped Saturn. The day that Rome worshipped Saturn. That's a fact. Till today, we still see temple in Europe that is called the Temple of Saturn.
The Temple of Saturn is one of the great Republican-era temples. It's constructed on the slopes of the Capitoline Hill, still today overlooking the Roman Forum. And this is a temple that's going to be rebuilt several times at the time of Augustus and all the way into late antiquity. So what you see is a temple whose god, Saturn, an agricultural divinity, is venerated over the centuries, even into the period of time in which Christianity has more than taken root. The Temple of Saturn. It's the last pagan temple to be rebuilt in the Roman Forum in the late 4th century. Walking through the Forum, we have to our right the rostra of the imperial period, and to the left the Basilica Julia. In front would have been the Arch of Tiberius, and behind it then the podium with lots of travertine blocks of the magnificent Temple of Saturn. Look at those enormous granite columns. So they belong to the restoration in late antiquity, but it's preceded by that of the Augustan age, and that preceded by the original structure of the Republican times, 5th century BC. This is the front of the temple. The stairs are missing. You do see the massive travertine podium. You see the reused granite columns. used here for the reconstruction in the end of the 4th century AD, with its contemporary inscription referring to a rebuild of the temple after a fire. As we walk down the Vicus Jugadius, we can contemplate the longevity of the Temple of Saturn and why it remains so popular even into the Christian period. It's because of the Saturnalia festival from December 17th to December 23rd. 7 days of revelry, of gift exchange, of partying, kicking off with a public banquet here at the Temple of Saturn overlooking the Roman Forum.
So the Romans used to worship Saturn before they began to worship the sun. That's where Saturn Day came from. And that's where Sunday, sun, the Romans also worship the sun. So Sunday and Saturn Day came from the Roman Empire. And as you can see from an actual history, Constantine, the Roman emperor, the man that you saw being prophesied about in Daniel chapter 7, Constantine was the one that ordered that people don't go to work on Sunday. On Sunday. Before that, the Romans was worshiping Saturn. So on Saturn Day, you don't go, like that's the day that they worship their god, Saturn. So I'm going to try to speed this up. And if you haven't watched the other videos I have about the mark of the beast, then the things I'm explaining to you right now may not make sense. I highly recommend that you watch the video, Who is the Beast? Or the Romans or the Europeans are the beast. Europe is the beast of Revelation. Europe is the beast of Revelation. Watch that video. If you haven't watched it, watch my video about who the beast is. The Europeans are the beast. And then watch the video that God has a mark. The title is God has a mark. Watch that video. And watch the part that talk about the mark of the beast is the counterfeit of God's mark. When you watch those videos, you will see the scriptures and this one will make sense. So when the book of Revelation tells you that without the mark of the beast, he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark. What mark were people being forced to receive? The mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast is the counterfeit of God's mark. God has a mark. Our Heavenly Father has a mark. And God's mark is the Sabbath day, based on the phases of the moon. God's mark, according to Exodus 31, 12 to 18, Exodus 31, 12 to 18, God has a mark. And his mark is his Sabbath days and his feast days, according to Exodus 31, 12 to 18. So the beast came and made a counterfeit mark. Let me show you. Let's go back to Daniel. Daniel, let me show you. Look at this. Look. So the Bible tells us that the beast is going to counterfeit God's mark. Daniel 7. Daniel 7, 23 to 25. Daniel 7, 23 to 25. This is what he said. As for the fourth beast, there shall be a fourth kingdom on earth that shall be different from all the other kingdoms. It shall devour the whole earth and trample it down and break it in pieces. As for the 10 horns, out of this kingdom, 10 kings shall arise, and another shall arise after them. This one shall be different from all the former ones, and shall put down 3 kings. Verse 25, he, that particular king, he shall speak words against the Most High, shall wear out the holy ones of the Most High, and shall attempt to change the ritual calendar and the law. And they, who are they? The Israelite. And the Israelite, and they shall be given into his power for a time, times, and half a time. That's about 2,500 years. A time, times, and half a time. So, we see here in this translation that the beast is supposed to change God's calendar. And the beast has changed God's calendar. This is what God's calendar looks like. This is God's calendar. This is God's calendar. As a matter of fact, you know what? I didn't plan on showing this particular video, but let me show you this video because I want you to hear it from the mouth of a Gentile. Sometimes our people, they prefer to hear from Gentiles. They don't take their own brothers seriously. I didn't plan on showing this video, but let me show you this. So let me show you this. Just watch this so you can see that the beast gave us a calendar.
We began this sermon by quoting Genesis 1:14, and God said, "Let there be lights in the heaven to divide the day and the night, and let there be your sign or signals." When I was in Washington talking to Pastor Mark Blitz, he asked me if I'd ever considered the study of the calendar. The Western civilization calendar is the Gregorian calendar from Pope Gregory of Rome. That means it's pagan in origin. It's not God's calendar. Our calendar and the calendar of this book do not match. Sun God is for Sunday. Moon God is for Monday. That's a sermon for another time. Believe me, much of what Christianity salutes is pagan to its roots.
So the calendar we currently use in the world today is a pagan calendar. It's a man-made calendar. That's what this man is telling you. This calendar is a Gregorian calendar, a Roman calendar. This is not God's calendar. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, brother. I think you're going off topic. No, we're talking about the mark of the beast. So there are certain things you need to understand. One, who is the beast? That's the Roman Empire. The Romans. Today, right now, we know them as the Europeans. Europe. That's what we know them today as for. Again, watch my video about Europe is the beast of Revelation. Watch that video. They are the Europeans. So Europe is, again, when I say these things, I like to prove it. I like to for those who may not, in fact, let me show you another video. Just watch this. Rome divided. This is towards the end. So, first of all, this is not my video. I didn't put this video together. So this is not just my opinion. This is understanding that some people have. There are people who are in denial. There are people who are in denial of this fact. So as you can see, it says Rome divided 476 AD to today. So where are the Romans today? Is there a country called Romans? No, it's the Europe. That's why you have Europe. So the Romans became Europe. The Romans became Europeans. They are the beast. Don't forget what we're studying right now. We're studying about the part that say that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. Without the mark of the beast or the name of the beast or the number of the beast. That's what we're studying right now. It's like a puzzle. This is like a puzzle. So please be patient with me. I beg you to be patient. What we're studying right now is like a puzzle. If you keep on watching this video, by the time we get to the end, it will all make sense. So it's very important for me to clarify and show you evidence and facts as to who the beast is. You need to understand who the beast is. That's Europeans. Europe is the beast. That's a fact. And then you need to understand that God has a mark. God has a mark. And his mark is the worship day, Sabbath day. And then I've shown you a video. I've shown you the evidence that I've shown you. By the way, what you're watching here is from Daniel chapter 2. This is from Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2 that talked about how Nebuchadnezzar had a dream of 4 kingdoms that will rule the earth. There are 4 kingdoms that will rule the earth. First was the Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, the Rome, and then towards the end, divided nations of Europe and America. So it's important, if we're going to talk about not being able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast, we need to know who the beast is. We also need to understand what the mark is. The mark of the beast is simply a counterfeit to God's mark. Our Creator has a mark. That is why he warned us not to accept the mark of the beast. So God's mark is the Sabbath day, according to Exodus 31:12-18. He said that his mark is the Sabbath day. His holy days, that's a sign. Okay, I have a video on that. Watch that video that says God has a mark. Then, so now if we're talking about the mark of the beast, without the mark of the beast, you can't buy or sell. The question is, what is the mark of the beast? Well, the beast has a mark. Because the mark of the beast is a counterfeit to God's mark. So when you think of Christmas, Easter, July 4th, Thanksgiving Day, Sunday, Saturday, these are holidays from the beast. So our God gave us holy days. The beast gave us holidays. You see? The Creator gave us holy days, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of Tabernacle, Day of Atonement, Feast of Weeks, Feast of Trumpet, Sabbath days, New Moon days. The beast gave us Christmas, Easter, July 4th, Sunday, Saturday, New Year, January 1st. These are holidays from the beast. So notice that on those days, their businesses are usually closed. Their government buildings are closed. As you saw in the video I showed you earlier from Constantine, let the magistrate and all workshops be closed on the venerable day of the sun. So when it talks about the mark of the beast, I'm trying to touch on all these topics in order to take you straight to the main point. The main point is that if you choose to use God's calendar, you will find it difficult to make money. You will find it difficult to make money. It's very easy, much easier to find work with this calendar. Much easier. Because with this calendar, when you get a job, most of the time you work Monday to Friday. You get Saturday and Sunday off. Saturday, which is Saturday. Saturday and Sunday, you get it off. So people now are beginning to realize that when they begin to keep the Sabbath according to the moon, because they want to have God's mark, they find it difficult finding a job. When people begin to use this calendar, because when you use this calendar, as a matter of fact, let me show you this website. I'm going to go straight to this website that I was looking for earlier. So let me read this from this website because I would rather have them say it. I was at the website earlier. This website, look at this. Look at what it says. Look at what it says. And I will read it now, and then I'll go ahead and show you some videos, and then I'll come back to this website later. So look at what it says here. Look at what it says here. So this website, look at the title. It says Lunar Sabbath Illusion. So they're speaking against the lunar Sabbath. They are speaking against using the moon to keep the Sabbath. These people are speaking against using the moon, and they will tell you why. Look at their argument here. Just watch this. It says this. Look at what it says here. Consider the logistical nightmare for a moment. So they're telling you that if you start using the moon, if you use the moon to keep the Sabbath, that's what they're telling you in that website. If you use the moon to keep the Sabbath, they're telling you to consider the logistical nightmare. Let me go ahead and read it. It says, consider the logistical nightmare for a moment. If you are a lunar Sabbath follower, if you, as a lunar Sabbath follower, have a regular job or are responsibly self-employed, you are continually taking off work to observe the Sabbath on different days of the week, depending on the moon. Does Yahweh require playing musical chairs with the Sabbath and make earning a living nearly unattainable for the vast majority of believers? Hardly. He is an Elohim of order and consistency, not confusion. So you see what they're saying here. My brothers and sisters, this is not my website. This is a website, yrm.org. What they're telling you here is that, let me read this point again. They wrote this. I found this website. This was written in 2016. This was written in October 10, 2016. And they're telling you that if you use the moon to keep the Sabbath, you will not be able to keep a job. Let me read their point again. Let me read this again. So, I'm going to read their own words. It says, does Yahweh require playing musical chairs with the Sabbath and make earning a living nearly unattainable for the vast majority of believers? Hardly. So what they're telling you is that if you keep the Sabbath with the moon, it's going to be very difficult for you to keep a job. That's what they're telling you. And this is coming from people who are worshiping with this calendar, because it's very easy to keep a job with this calendar. And what's the point here? Well, the point is that in order for you to be able to buy or sell, you need to have a job. You will not be able to buy or sell if you don't have a job. In order for you to be able to buy or sell, you have to have a job, right? For you to buy or sell, you have to have a job. And if you don't, you have to give your time, and then you get money. When you look for work, you're not going to look for a job and tell your employer when you have to come to work. You don't do that. When you look for work, your employer will tell you the days you're going to work, and you're going to shut up your mouth and take that schedule. That's how it works. Majority of the time. Your employer will tell you when to come to work, the time you're going to come to work, and you come to work at that time, and your employer will pay you money, and then you will use that money to buy food. You give your time, and your employer will give you money. That's how it works. Well, if you are using the moon, you will not be able to do that. Because if the new moon comes out on Wednesday, you cannot go to work on that day. You have to observe the new moon day, according to Ezekiel 46, 1-3. Ezekiel 46, 1-3. You're supposed to worship on the new moon. And you're supposed to observe the Sabbath 7 days after the new moon, because Sabbath is 7 days after the new moon. So let's say that the first crescent of the moon comes out on Wednesday. That means that the next Wednesday will be the Sabbath. That's what happens. Next Wednesday, the moon is going to look half most of the time, and that will be the Sabbath. Now, let me go back to this website again. Let me go back to this website. Because the point here is that if you're using the lunar calendar, you will not be able to buy or sell. Let me read this again. Let me read this again. Consider the logistical nightmare for a moment. If you as a lunar Sabbath follower have a regular job or are responsibly self-employed, you are continually taking off work to observe the Sabbath on different days of the week, depending on the moon. And they're telling you, earning a living nearly unattainable for the vast majority of believers. So they're telling you that if you use the moon, you will not be able to keep a job. Because next month, like right now, as I'm speaking to you right now, Sabbath is on Tuesdays. The reason why Sabbath is on Tuesdays is because the first crescent of the moon came out on Tuesday. So Sabbath is on Tuesday this month in the man-made calendar. Next month, the first crescent of the moon is going to come out on a Thursday, and Sabbath will be on Thursdays. So if you have a regular job, if you work in a bank, if you work with the city, if you work with a corporation, that means that this month you're going to be taking Tuesdays off. You cannot work on Tuesdays. And next month, you are going to have to take off on Thursdays. And that will be very difficult for you to be able to keep that job. Most likely, your employer is going to fire you. You can't keep doing that, right? And you need to work and get money in order to be able to buy or sell. Now, let me show you these videos.
Shalom, shalom. Sometimes I get asked a question when people find out that I observe lunar Sabbaths, which means that I have some type of a rotating Sabbath. Not that the Sabbath's on different days, but the Sabbath does fall on a different day of the Gregorian week, depending on which Gregorian month that you're in. And so we've been, for example, in the month of February, we've been on Sabbaths from Monday evening to Tuesday evening, and then this next new moon period that is coming up will be on Sabbaths from Wednesday evening to Thursday evening for the next 4 weeks throughout March. And so they ask me, they say, what about my job? I can't really keep the lunar Sabbath because my job won't allow me to. Couple of things. One, don't say that your job won't allow you to until you ask. Okay, now if you've asked and they've said no, then okay, you're right, that particular job won't allow you to. But I've known several brothers and sisters since I've been doing this since 1999, that they've had jobs and they've taken in a pre-calculated calendar because we have the ability and the gift of being able to do that with technology. Taken in a pre-calculated calendar to the management, told them, said, look, I can't work on these particular days because that is the Sabbath that I observe, but I will come in on a Saturday or I'll come in on a Sunday, whereas a lot of people want Saturday and Sunday off. So I've seen numerous instances where the employer or the management have said, yeah, we'll work with you, no problem. I'm talking about for big companies, like Chick-fil-A, Ace Hardware, Walmart. So we're not just talking about, the little mom and pop store gas station down the street. We're talking about big franchise companies. Secondarily, and some people may not like what I'm about to say, but there comes a time in our life where we have to make a decision as to whether we're going to serve the Creator to the best that we understand, the best knowledge that we have, or we're going to serve ourselves. And if you think you can't observe the Sabbath, whether you believe the Sabbath's on Saturday, because I've heard the same excuses for people that are approached with Sabbath from Friday evening to Saturday evening. They say, well, my job won't let me off on Saturday. So I've heard the same statement or excuse, sometimes excuse, with that. We have to make a decision. Are we going to serve ourselves, or are we going to serve the Creator? People have told me, Brother Matthew, you know, if I kept the lunar Sabbath, or I see you keep the lunar Sabbath, and you just can't have the same schedule as everybody else. It seems so hectic. It seems so out of order. You know, everybody else is on a Sunday through Saturday.
So the point that he's making here is that the reality of the matter is that a lot of people would like to keep the Sabbath using the moon, but they can't because of their job. It's hard to find work if you're using the moon to keep the Sabbath. And you need to be able to work in order to get money to be able to buy or sell. And remember that the Bible never told you that the whole world must worship the beast and accept the mark. No, majority. Because the Bible tells you in Revelation chapter 14, from verse 9, that there are those who will overcome the beast. There are those who will overcome the beast. This is a good time for me to go to that particular verse, Revelation chapter 14. So there are those, which is what this man was talking about before the video stopped. There are those who will overcome the beast. Let me read it. So the Bible never told you that the whole world will accept the mark of the beast and nobody will be saved. No. Look here. Revelation chapter 14 from verse 9. Then a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and his image and receive his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out full strength into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascend forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whoever received the mark of his name. Now look at verse 12. Here is the patience of the saint. Here are those who keep the commandment of God and the faith of Yahushua. And the faith of Yahushua. Are you keeping the faith of Yahushua? What kind of faith did he keep? He kept the commandment. The same kind of faith that Abraham kept. Abraham kept all the commandments. So faith leads to obedience to the law. That is the kind of faith that Yahushua kept. And that is the faith you have to keep in order to overcome the beast and defeat the beast. Who is the beast? Europe. Who gives us the calendar we use today? Who is giving us this calendar every year? Is it the Chinese? Do we have to wait for the Chinese every year? Do we have to wait for the Indians or the Africans or the Arabs or the Latinos? No. We have to wait for the Europeans to give us this calendar every year. 2024 calendar, 2025 calendar, 2026 calendar. Because the Europeans are the descendant of the Roman Empire. Europe did not disappear. Europeans today are descendants of the Roman Empire. That is a fact. So what I was showing you here is that there are people who are struggling. There are people who are clearly struggling. They're struggling. Because when you use the lunar calendar, it's hard to find a job. It's hard to find a job. It's difficult to find an employer that will allow you to work and take Mondays off this month. Next month, you take Tuesdays off. The other month, you take Thursdays off. It's hard to find a job that will allow you. Let me show you a few more videos.
Of your so-called supervisor or your boss that of your so-called supervisor or your boss that's telling you that you can't keep Passover off, you can't keep the Sabbath off, you have to work, right? And then you deceive yourself saying, oh well, we're in bondage, you know, we are in captivity, so we can't keep the Most High's laws as we would like to. So, let's just go ahead and go to work, right? But it's the Most High testing you, man, to see what you're going to do. He's going to see if you're truly serving him with a willingness of heart and spirit, man, right? You got to get a backbone, right? And then the Most High is going to see that, and he's going to reward that. And then when you do that, what you think he's going to do to your supervisor or boss? He's going to lighten up that spirit that he put in him from the get-go to harden himself towards you, to tell you that you can't take those days off, just to see what you're going to do, man.
Okay, my brothers and sisters, I'm showing you these videos for you to see that there are people that have challenges keeping the Sabbath when they use the moon as their calendar. I can't even tell you how many people that have called me and ask me, brother, how do I keep a job keeping Sabbath this way? And there's so many people, I can't even tell, I don't even know the numbers anymore. There are people that have called me, they complain that, yes, brother, I understand what you're saying, but I'm a teacher. I'm a school teacher. I have to go to work Monday to Friday. I can't keep Sabbath this way. Okay, let's play this video too.
Off the lunar calendar. But if you're going off the lunar calendar, those Sabbaths is going to change every single month, right? One month you might have your Sabbath during a Tuesday. Then the next month you might have it during a Thursday or a Friday or Wednesday or whatever. And if you're operating in this society, how can you keep a lunar calendar, let alone a Tuesday Sabbath? Because a majority of people in this society, they work Monday through Friday, right? 9 to 5. So how are you keeping a Tuesday Sabbath and you're telling your boss or your supervisor, to have Tuesday off every single month? And if you're keeping a lunar Sabbath, if you're going off the moon and you're basing your Sabbath off that from the first day of the month, then those days, they change every single month.
And that's the point, my brothers and sisters. That is the point. That's the point. And the reason why.
But if you're going off.
That's the point and the reason why I'm showing you these videos. What I'm doing here is to explain the meaning. When the Bible tells you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. That's what this is talking about. Without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. Now, there's something that I need to point out. I have pointed this out in the past. Let me actually, there are scriptures we need to look at also. Let me point this out again. Let me point this out, my brothers and sisters. Because what I'm showing you here is like a puzzle. And I pray that you will understand this whole thing by the time we get to the end. I'm almost done. I have like maybe 10 or 15 more minutes to be done. I'm almost done. Let me point this out. Look at this. Daniel chapter 7. Daniel 7. Daniel 7. Then he said to me, the fourth beast is the fourth world power that will rule the earth. So the beast is not an animal. The beast is not an animal. The beast is a world power. As a matter of fact, an empire, like Roman Empire. An empire. Why am I pointing this out? Because when the Bible tells you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell, except you have the mark of the beast, it doesn't mean exactly what you read there. It doesn't mean exactly what it says. Like when the Bible says the beast, it's not the beast, it's an empire. When the Bible says the beast, it's not the beast, it's an empire. Let me give you another example. In Revelation chapter 12, look at this. Revelation chapter 12 verse 9. So the dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels was cast out with him. So look at this. So the dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil. So here you see the devil being called a dragon. Do you see that? The devil is being called a dragon. The devil is being called a serpent, like a snake. Does it mean that when you see a snake, you have seen the devil? No. Does it mean when you see a dragon, you've seen the devil? No. Look at verse 11. And they overcome him by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of their testimony. So who is the Lamb according to the Bible? Christ, Yahushua. Christ is the Lamb. Does it mean that Christ is a sheep? Let me actually show an image of the lamb, because the Bible describe Christ as a lamb. So a lamb, oh, sorry. A lamb So the Bible describes Christ as a lamb. I'm pointing this out because this is very important. When the Bible tells you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell, that's just a metaphor, because the book of Revelation was written in codes. The book of Revelation was not written for the whole world. The book of Revelation was written to be interpreted. So, for example, a nation of people, an empire, is described as a beast. The devil, Satan, is described as a serpent, a snake. Let me pull that up also. A serpent. Okay, so the Bible describes the devil as a snake. I need to pull this image up because you need to understand that the book of Revelation was written. The book of Revelation was written as like a code. It was written as a code. And it wasn't meant for the whole world. So look at this. This is a serpent, a snake. So does it mean that whenever you see a snake, you have seen the devil? Of course not. Does it mean that whenever you see a lamb, you have seen Christ? Of course not. So I need to point these things out. So if we go back to Revelation chapter 13, Revelation 13, when it tells you that he, who is he? The beast. Who is that beast according to Daniel chapter 7? The empire, Roman Empire, who have now become Europe. Europe is the beast. Roman Empire became the European Union, including America. So I'm pointing this out because when Revelation chapter 13 from verse 16 tells you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. This is just a coded word. It's like when the Most High told the Israelites, I will give you a land flowing with milk and honey. It doesn't mean that when they go to the land, they will see a river of milk. There's no river of milk. There's no river of honey. Milk comes from animals and human beings. Honey comes from bees. And yet the Most High say, I will give you a land flowing with milk and honey. Any Israelite that goes into the promised land and begin to expect a land flowing with milk and honey, that Israelite is a fool. The Most High will say that that Israelite is a foolish person, because that's just a proverb. So when the Bible tells you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell, we know that the beast is the Roman Empire, modern day Europe. We know that the mark is Saturday and Sunday worship and Easter and Christmas. They are holidays. That's the mark. That is why I'm pointing out and showing you the videos I've showed you. If you try to use the moon to keep the Sabbath, go and look for a work at a bank. Go to any corporate building, any corporate company, and go look for work, and try and tell them that you're not going to be able. This month you will not work on Tuesdays. Next month you will not work on Thursdays. The month before you will. If you tell them this at the interview, if you are being interviewed and you tell them these things, if you tell them these things at your interview, you start telling them these things, you get fired. You get fired right away. You will not get that job. You will not get that job. And if you already have that job, and then you switch from Saturday worship to Sunday to using the moon, you're most likely going to get fired, because your worldly employer that operates on a man-made calendar, the beast calendar, the Roman calendar, they expect you to come to work Monday to Friday. They expect you to come to work on Monday to Friday. So if you're telling them that for the next 4 Mondays, you will not come to work, they might accommodate you. Yes, your employer might accommodate you. They might be like, okay, fine. Next 4 Mondays, you will not come to work. Sure, good, no problem. And then next month, you come back again and tell them, oh, I'm sorry, I won't come to work next 4 Tuesdays. Look, let me tell you something. They might even accommodate you again. They might accommodate you. And then next month, you come back again and say, oh, I'm so sorry. I won't come back to work. I won't come to work on Wednesday because that's a new moon day. I didn't come to work for last 4 Tuesdays. And this coming Wednesday, I will not come to work because it's a new moon day. And then the next 4 Wednesdays, I won't come to work. You know what they will do to you? They'll be like, okay, sure, no problem, sure. The next thing you know, they will give you a piece of paper. You're terminated. You're fired. You're fired. Why? Because you're using this calendar to keep the Sabbath. And when you use this calendar, the lunar calendar, to keep the Sabbath, Sabbath can be on Tuesdays in man-made calendar. Sabbath could be on Mondays. Sabbath could be on Sundays. Sabbath could be on Fridays, because it all depends on whenever the moon comes out. Sabbath is 7 days from the new moon day. In God's calendar, Sabbath is 7 days from the new moon day. That's why he told us to keep Sabbath on the 7th day. Sabbath is 7 days from the new moon day. That's what happens. So that's why the Bible was telling you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. It's very easy to get a job using this calendar. Very easy to get a job. They schedule you, you go to work Monday to Friday. You go to work Monday to Friday. Everybody knows that. No issue. Whatever you need to do, you do on Saturday and Sunday, right? But that's not so when you're using the moon as a calendar. You're most likely going to get fired. And then that brings us back to the elephant in the room. Money. You need money to be able to buy or sell. You give your time, your employer gives you money, and then you need the money to be able to buy or sell, right? You need to have the money which comes from the beast. I'm not going to get too much into that right now. This money comes from the beast, because it's the same beast that came up with the idea of paper money. If you go and study the history of money, which I'm gonna do a video on that. You can look under this video or look on my YouTube. The money we use today is a beast money. The money we use today is beast money. Depending on when you're watching this video, you can look under this video right now, or look on my YouTube channel, or contact me. As long as I'm alive, I will respond. This is what I do full time now. I serve the Most High full time. So if you contact me, I'm not going to ignore you. I try to respond to everyone that contacts me almost every day. So you can contact me. I'm going to do a video on the beast's money. The money we use today is the beast money. That's why I usually have their head. This is not the money that the Creator wants us to use. The Creator wants us to use silver or gold. Mainly silver is God's money. The Europeans are the ones that gave the world. That's why they have their central bank system. I'm not going to get into too deep into that right now because that will be a separate video. The point is that in order for you to be able to buy or sell, you have to have this. And in order for you to get this, you have to give your time. And if you're using the lunar calendar, you can't just give whatever time, you can't just give your own time. They will tell you when you have to give your time. It's easier to give your time if you're using this calendar. You give them your time between Monday and Friday. You get paid. Between Monday and Friday, you give them your time, you get paid. And then you use that money to buy or sell, right? But if you're using a lunar calendar, they're going to require you to give them your time on Tuesdays or on Thursdays. That might happen to be a new moon day. You will tell them, oh, I'm so sorry, I cannot come to work. It's a new moon day. They might say, okay, fine, no problem. And then you tell them, oh, I can't come to work on Thursdays because that's a Sabbath day. The moon came out on Thursday. The first crescent of the moon came out on Thursday. So for the next 4 Thursdays, I cannot work. They might even accommodate you, right? They might accommodate you. And then after that, you tell them, oh, I'm so sorry. The first crescent of the moon came out on Fridays. So for the next 4 Fridays, I cannot work. I guarantee you, you're going to get fired. You will get fired from that job. You will get fired from that job. So this is the reason why that some people, when they begin to keep Sabbath with the moon, when they accept God's mark, let me say it properly, when they accept the mark of God by keeping Sabbath with the moon, normally they begin to drive a truck. Some people will begin to drive Uber. Some people will begin to deliver food delivery. They begin to look for something they can do and be in control of their time. This is what happens. So this is what it means when it says that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. Let me make this last point with Deuteronomy. Let me give you an example. I'm going to close with this. Let me show you, because I know that when I told you that when the Bible tells you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell, that's not really what the Bible is telling you. So when God said to the Israelites, I will give you a land flowing with milk and honey, that's not what God was saying. That was just a parable, because there's nothing like a river of honey or river of milk, right? When God told Abraham, I will bless your seed will be like the stars in the sky. Does it mean that Abraham has orange seed or apple seed? When God said to Abraham, I will bless your seed, does that mean that he will bless his apple seed and his orange seed? No. The Most High was talking about his children and his children's children after him. That's what the Most High was talking about. So let me demonstrate what I'm talking about with this scripture right here in the law. And then we'll go ahead and close. And I pray that Yah will give you understanding. Our Creator will give you understanding to understand this presentation. Because when they tell you that, you have to have a microchip or whatever, or somebody is going to come in the future and make you to receive a mark, and without that mark, you will not be able to buy or sell, that's absolute nonsense. Complete nonsense. Watch my video about the Antichrist. Constantine, the Antichrist. Watch that video to find out who the Antichrist is. Antichrist already came. There will never be anybody that will come in the future and make you to receive a mark. Mark of the beast have already been accepted. The mark of the beast have already been accepted already. Already, yes. Okay, this is Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6 from verse 1, from verse 6 to 9. Deuteronomy chapter 6. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. So here is Deuteronomy chapter 6. I am showing you this to prove to you. I want to prove to you right now that when the Bible tells you in the book of Revelation, when the Bible tells you in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. I'm telling you, I'm going to show you that this is not what it's telling you. This means something different. So when the Bible says that you have to have the mark of the beast in order to be able to buy or sell, that's just a parable. It doesn't mean that somebody will hold you and force you to receive a mark, or you have to go and volunteer and receive a mark in order to buy or sell. That's not what it means. Again, it's like when God told the Israelites, I will give you a land flowing with milk and honey. I'm going to give you a land flowing with milk and honey. It doesn't mean that they will receive a land that has a river of honey and a river or ocean of milk. No, that was just a parable. When God said that I will bless your seed, it doesn't mean that the Israelite it doesn't mean that he will bless the apple and oranges of Abraham. No. When the Bible calls Satan in Revelation 12 verse 9, Revelation chapter 12 verse 9, when the Bible calls Satan the serpent, when the Bible calls Satan the serpent, it doesn't mean that Satan is a snake. It doesn't mean that when you see a snake, you have seen Satan. Revelation chapter 12 verse 9 describes Satan as a snake. Satan was described as a snake right here. Revelation chapter 12 verse 9. So the dragon was cast out, that serpent of old. Serpent is a snake. It doesn't mean that Satan is a snake. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Like when the Bible describes Satan as a snake, it doesn't mean that any day you see a snake, you have seen Satan. No. The Bible describes Satan as a dragon. It doesn't mean if you see a dragon, you have seen Satan. No. The Bible describes Christ as a lamb. It doesn't mean that when you see a sheep, a lamb, oh, this is Christ. No. The Bible describes Christ as a lamb right here in verse 11, Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. And they overcome him by the blood of the lamb. So Christ is being described as a lamb. It doesn't mean that he's literally a lamb. So if you come to Revelation, the book of Revelation, when it tells you that without the mark of the beast, that you will not be able to buy or sell, it doesn't mean that that there is a wild animal from the forest or the jungle. This huge wild animal is going to come out, and that wild animal will force you to receive a mark. No. Another point is Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7 tells us that the beast is an empire. The beast is a world power, an empire, a kingdom that will rule the earth. So the beast, we know that beast is just an animal, right? But here you see Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7 is describing the beast as an empire. So what the Bible was speaking about is an empire, but they describe it as a beast. So a gullible, somebody who has a simple mind, a simple-minded person will think that when the Bible says the beast, it means a wild animal. No. Or when the Bible says a lamb, it means an animal. No, the lamb is another word for Christ. You know? So if we come back to Revelation chapter 13, when it says that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell, it's talking about God's mark. So the mark of the beast is the counterfeit of God's mark. God has a mark. Our Heavenly Father has a mark. He told us that he has a mark in Exodus 31, 12 to 18. Watch the video. Watch my video about God's mark. God has a mark. Our Heavenly Father has a mark. Watch that video. Look under this video, you will see a link. Or look on my YouTube channel. Look at the title of the video that said, God has a mark. And the mark of the beast is the counterfeit to God's mark. So that's what this is all about. So let me go back to this Deuteronomy and read this again. So it says that God is telling us, our Heavenly Father is telling us, look at this. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. So God is saying that his word shall be in our heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorpost of your house and on your gate. So the Most High is saying that you shall bind his law on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. Now let me show you a funny picture. This is a funny picture, and I will tell you why it's funny. This is a so-called Jew. This is the law. So they take the law and they put it inside something and they put it in their head. And then they tie this thing on their hand. They do this because of what I just read in Deuteronomy. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Because you will never read about anybody in the law. You will never read about Israelites who are writing the law in their forehead. Why? Because the Israelite understood that what God is talking about here is spiritual. When the Most High God tells you to bind the law on your hand and to let them be as frontlets between your eyes, it doesn't mean physical. It doesn't mean physical. It means you should do it spiritually. Let the law be in your heart. So some people will go ahead and try to put the law physically into their hand. No. There is no chapter or verse that shows you that Israelite was writing the law with paint or with pen in their forehead. No. This is not the only place you see this. You also see it in Deuteronomy chapter 11. Deuteronomy 11, 18 and 19. Deuteronomy 11, 18 and 19, you see the same thing. Let's read this real quick because I'm pretty much done. I'm basically done. Let's read this one. Deuteronomy chapter 11, 18 and 19. Therefore you shall lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your soul, and bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. So if you go and tie the laws of God physically on your face, and you tie them on your hand, what about the part that says to put it in your soul? How do you do that? How do you put the law of God into your heart and your soul? If you go and get a surgery and they open your heart, they do an open heart surgery, and they put God's law in your heart, which I don't think you will survive. But if you survive, how then do you put that law in your soul? So the so-called Jews are dumb. They are foolish when they try to put the law in their face and tie it on their hand. That is foolishness. Because if you're going to put it like this in your face and on your hand, then put it on your heart too. Put it on your soul too. And that brings me back to Revelation. That brings me back to the book of Revelation, because I'm trying to make a point. When this tells you that without the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. First of all, who is the beast? The modern day Europeans. Europe is the beast. What is the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast is a counterfeit to God's mark. Yes, our Creator has a mark. Watch my video about God's mark. Our Creator said that he has a mark. Exodus chapter 31 verse 12 to 18. He described his Sabbath days. His Sabbath days as his sign. That word sign and mark is the same. So if you accept God's mark, which is his Sabbath days, that means you have to use his calendar to observe his mark. The Passover, the Feast of Tabernacle, Feast of Unleavened Bread, weekly Sabbath, new moon days, they are all observed inside his calendar. The new moon day begins the month. Sabbath is 7 days from the new moon day. Day of Atonement is on the 10th of the 7th month. Passover is on the 14th of the 1st month. Feast of Unleavened Bread is on the 15th. All the feast days and the holy days of the Most High is inside his calendar. Without the moon, you will not be able to observe God's holy days. That means you will not be able to have God's mark. Without the moon, you cannot have God's mark. And that is what the Romans have changed. The Romans changed it, and they gave us their calendar. They have thrown everything off. That is why we are now in the situation that we're in today, where you now find yourself that you will not be able to keep a job. You have to have the mark of the beast. I showed you how the beast changed God's calendar. You know, how the Romans, how they changed the calendar. It actually says calendar right here in Daniel. Daniel chapter 7 from verse 23 to 25. Daniel 7. This is what it says about the beast. Daniel 7 from verse 23. This is what he said. As for the fourth beast, there shall be a fourth kingdom on earth that shall be different from all the other kingdoms. It shall devour the whole earth. So the beast is a kingdom. And trample it down and break it to pieces. As for the 10 horns, out of this kingdom, 10 kings shall arise, and another king shall arise after them. This shall be different from the former ones, and shall put down 3 kings. Talking about the beast, all those Roman emperors that came before Constantine. Constantine came and did more than them. This is verse 25. Daniel 7:25. He shall speak words against the Most High, and shall wear out the holy ones of the Most High, and shall attempt to change the ritual calendar and the law, and they shall be given into his hand. Talking about the Israelites. So if you want to understand Daniel chapter 7, I highly recommend that you watch my video about the Antichrist. Constantine, the Antichrist. Constantine is the Antichrist. Watch that video. You will see this place being explained in details. So my brothers and sisters, that is what it means to not be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. This has nothing to do with microchip. This has nothing to do with microchip. This has nothing to do with 666. This has nothing to do with 666 or microchip or any of those things. Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with microchip. It has nothing to do with 666. This has to do with God's calendar. It has to do with God's calendar. As I've shown you on the videos that I showed you, if you choose to use God's calendar to keep the Sabbath, you will find it difficult finding a job. And you need to be able to have some sort of income to be able to buy or sell. And if you go to find work, oftentimes they will require you to work Monday to Friday, or they will give you a schedule when you will work. And if you try to keep the Sabbath using God's calendar, the moon, you will find it difficult keeping a job. And you need to have a job in order to get money and be able to buy or sell. That's what this is talking about. All praises to our Heavenly Father. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. And I really pray that you understand what I have just explained and presented to you. My phone number is available as long as I am alive. Through the help of the Most High, I will talk to you. I will answer your call. I will be happy to answer any question you may have and dialogue with you for those who would like to call me if they have any question. And I highly, highly, highly from the bottom of my heart encourage you to watch the rest of the videos I have about the mark of the beast in order to understand this fully. I have videos about the beast, about God's mark, about the counterfeit mark, which is the mark of the beast, about the mark on your forehead and on your arm, about the great tribulation, about the Antichrist, the image of the beast, the worship of the beast. Watch those videos. Look under this video right now. Under the title of this video, you see where it says more. Click on that. You see the links that will take you to the rest of the videos, or check my YouTube, or contact me, or check my website. I have a dedicated page on my website, Focus on the Beast. If you check my website, click on 666. On that website, you see the rest of the videos. And of course, my phone number is available for those that would like to contact me. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. I thank you for opening our eyes and giving us the understanding and the knowledge that Daniel wanted to know these things during the time of the Babylonians. Daniel wanted to know these things. The angel told Daniel to put that book away, that it wasn't meant for him. It's meant for those who will live in the later days. So I thank the Most High for giving us the understanding and allowing us to be able to understand these things. So please, my brother, my sister, I'm telling you, disregard that nonsense that they have taught us. The nonsense that some man is going to come in the future, and that man is going to force you to accept a mark on your forehead or your arm. Absolute rubbish. And that without that mark, that 666, without it, you will not be able to buy or sell. That is nonsense. No. This has to do with God's mark and the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is the counterfeit of God's mark. Our Heavenly Father has the mark. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. And again, watch the rest of the videos series I have. Watch the rest of the videos I have about the mark of the beast in order for you to understand this. And if you do have any question, feel free to give me a call. All praises to our Heavenly Father. Thank you so much for your interest in my videos. If you have any biblical question, if you have any question regarding any of my videos that you have watched, you're welcome to call me. You can call me anytime, 24 hours a day. You can call me, you can email me, you can contact me through WhatsApp, and I will love to talk to you and discuss any question that you may have regarding any of my video or any biblical question that you may have. Feel free to contact me. Also, if you want to learn more about the commandments of our Heavenly Father, if you would like to learn more on the laws and the commandment of our Heavenly Father, then this book is for you. I have something for you. This is an amazing book. It is called The Commandment Book. The name of this book is The Commandment Book, and this book is designed for any man or woman that wants to obey our Creator. If you want to learn more about the laws and the commandment that our Heavenly Father gave us, then this book is for you. This book is packed with so much information. It's an amazing book designed for those that wants to learn our Heavenly Father's commandment. So it's free. This book is free. It's actually free. It took me a while to put this book together. It took me a while to arrange and put this book together. And if you read this book, you will be able to learn different types of laws and commandments and get a full understanding of those commandments. It is for free. You can download this book from my website. Go to www.commandmentschool.com. Go to my website and you can download it for free. Or you can contact me and I will send it to you. This book is an amazing book designed for people that want to learn more and keep the commandment of our Heavenly Father. Also, we have an online congregation. I would love to invite you to join our online congregation. We gather together on Sabbath days, new moon days, feast days. We come together to worship our Heavenly Father, and we do it online. We do it online because we have people in the Caribbean, in America, in Africa, Europe. We have people in different parts of the world, and we all come together using our phone or computer to go to worship to our Heavenly Father. So it doesn't matter who you are, whether you are black or you're white, it doesn't matter who you are. What matters is that you want to worship our Heavenly Father. As long as you want to worship the Most High and keep His commandment, you're welcome to join us. Feel free to contact me and I will add you into our online congregation. Also, I will really appreciate your financial support. I will be grateful and thankful if you can support my work financially. Right now, I am serving our Heavenly Father full time. I serve the Most High full time, and I really do need your financial support. If you would like to support my ministry with your tithe or your offering, I will be very grateful if you can do so. And you can support my ministry using your using Cash App or PayPal. You can support me through Cash App or PayPal. Feel free to contact me. The Most High is the one that have opened my eyes. The Most High is the one that strengthened me and support me. The Most High is the one that have enabled me to serve Him. And it would be very nice if you can also help me financially to be able to do even more work of the Most High that I'm currently doing right now. Thank you so much again for your interest in my videos. Like as I said, if you do have any biblical question, you're welcome to contact me. Feel free to call me anytime, 24 hours a day. You are welcome to call me anytime, and I will love to hear from you and discuss and answer any question that you may have. All praises to our Heavenly Father.